We're going to head over to the Goodyear Hotline where we're joined by Tyrese Halliburton, the Sacramento Kings. Let's start right away, Tyrese. Got to ask you, how's the knee? I know obviously the season ended with an injury with you. How are you feeling?
Oh, I feel good. I'm back to doing my workouts 100%. I think it was a little bit of a scare for everybody, but, now at this point, it's just about being cautious. But other than that, I feel really good.
While we're talking injuries, Tyrese, I wonder, we're talking all about James Harden deciding to give it a go tonight for a shorthanded Nets team. Being an athlete, how much do you trust your own self and your own knowledge of your body versus what doctors might tell you about further damage you can cause if you have a weakness or an imbalance on one side?
Yeah, I think that's just the competitive nature of anybody, especially, a guy like James, a guy in the NBA who, they work really hard. You spend all your summer work, basically all your work, your whole life is led up to, this moment of being able to compete for an NBA championship. So, I understand it, but at the same time, you got to be safe. So it's hard to balance that, but at the same time, as competitors, it's hard to tell somebody like that no when at the end of the day, all they want to do is help the team. So, I just hope that everything goes well, for him and that this is the right decision. But, I'm pretty confident that as NBA doctors, they wouldn't send somebody out if they knew they weren't ready.
How different is it for you when you're on a team and you don't know if a guy's going to be ready to go through all the warm-ups? Like, how much does that affect the way everybody has to prepare for the game?
Yeah, I think that's just kind of the next man up mentality. You just got to be ready because you never really know what could happen. Obviously everybody would love if, you knew what was going on beforehand, so you could mentally prepare, but it doesn't always work that way. So, you just got to be ready to go. I think that the great teams, they got guys that are ready when it's their time.
It's Spain and Fitz, Sarah Spain, Jason Fitz talking to Kings point guard Tyrese Halliburton, third in voting for Rookie of the Year. Excellent season for you. Congrats on that. And, I wonder, now that you're in the league, does it change your approach to watching the playoffs? Are you watching every game, scouting teams, getting into it? Do you have favorites that you want to advance? Or is it the same as, growing up or being in college watching?
No, yeah, I think I'm watching that more of like a scouting look, right? Like just kind of seeing what teams are doing that works. Me being a point guard or a guard of any sense, Chris Paul is probably one of the greatest guards to ever play the game of basketball. So, locking in and seeing how he can really control games, especially playoff games that can get crazy at times. So, it's really interesting for me. But, I think it's kind of cool, because I've played against these guys. So I know, like, how do I feel about this guy's game and how do I feel about that guy's game? So it's pretty cool to watch it now that I'm actually in the league.
Well, and with that being said, like, I always think it's crazy when you think about the work you put in to get to where you are. You're in the league. Was there a moment this year that you just finally got to stand there, look around, and say, "Man, I made it"?
Yeah. I mean, I felt like that every day. I kind of that feeling. I just kind of felt like a kid in a candy store. Like, man, I'm really here. But I think there's a lot of different instances. My favorite would probably be we won at Staples Center, against the Lakers late in the year, and I felt like I had a really big impact on that game. That was the cool feeling because, LeBron's my favorite player growing up, so to be able to play against him and win, in the Staples Center, which is obviously a legendary arena, that was really cool for me.
Tyrese Halliburton of the Kings with us here on Spain and Fitz on the Goodyear Hotline. Tyrese, watching these playoffs, it was this simultaneous feeling of like either, well, we won't be surprised if it's Lakers Nets, or it could be anyone, right? It was like these complete opposites that somehow both held the same weight for many of us. What have you been most surprised by that you've seen so far in the playoffs?
Oh man, that's a good question. My answer would probably just be, the Clippers, how they've handled these last two series. First series, I think, when the Mavericks went up 2-0 and then they had a really hot start to game 3, it didn't look very good for them, and for them to battle back and win in 7. And then same with the Jazz series. Jazz won the first 2. It didn't really look good for LA. But they're, now it seems like the momentum has kind of shifted their way, and it seems to be like they're kind of favorited. So it's just the unpredictability of the playoffs and how things can change in an instant. It's really cool for me, and like also very motivating, because you look at that and you're like, man, I have to play in the playoffs. It just looks so much fun.
Fitz, it's so cute how young and naive he is that he's surprised by anything the Clippers do. God darn it, that team.
Sarah's hurt by the Clippers. You don't want to go
they
there.
They burned me one too many times, Tyrese.
Oh, man. Tyrese, you said on the Old Man and the Three podcast, you were talking about getting LASIK. And, like, I always think this is interesting because I got LASIK, and it was like, truly life-changing. But, like, for me, there was a moment I went to see Alvin and the Chipmunks, the movie, in the theaters, because I'd never seen things move. I'd always had so many problems with my eyes. How weird is it for you getting back on the court with LASIK and the fact that everything does look a little different?
Yeah, it was weird at first, but my thing is I've worn contacts since I was like 15 or 16. I had good vision, I felt like, until then, and then my mom saw me squinting at the TV while I played the video games, like, we need to figure this out. So then I got contacts, and it's just been good for me because now I don't have to wake up earlier to put in my contacts, and I don't have to worry about getting poked in the eye and contact falling out, and the other teams start complaining, and then the fans are complaining, and everybody's complaining that I got to fix my eyes. So I'm just really excited about it, and I keep messing around, like, feel like I've been shooting better in my workouts, and I'm telling people that's because of the LASIK. So it is really life changing, though. It's been really cool for me.
The bionic eyes. Tyrese Halliburton of the Kings, coming off a great rookie season. There's so much conversation in the league right now about the injuries as a result of the timeline from last year. Everything was screwed up by COVID. But then you look at the bubble season, you look at some folks who have said sort of off the record, I would have gotten a surgery at a different time if we were starting as anticipated in January, February, and instead we started earlier. And that kind of threw guys off. I know a lot of people have said that maybe there's some book cooking being done to make it feel like, oh, it's just the usual, setbacks of a tough sport. It feels to me like it is very demonstrative how many stars and role players, important players in this playoffs are dealing with serious injuries. From the inside, is that conversation that guys are having about how this season resulted and how much it's affecting this postseason?
I mean, for a guy like me who didn't have that and I still got hurt, I mean, it makes sense. It doesn't make sense, I guess, in theory. But I obviously did have a long pre-draft process, and these are the most games my body's ever played in a year. But, I think that's a conversation that needs to be had, and is being had, obviously, every day. And it is just kind of hard because it's that gray area of, when was it okay to come back and play? And, obviously there's money involved. So there's many different things, and it's just unfortunate how it's worked out. And, but I think the league has tried to do the best that they can to protect us as players and also give the fans, what they want and treat us as human beings at the same time. And I think the league has, tried their best. It's just kind of hard. It's kind of been like a gray area for the league and for everybody else. And, I can at least appreciate the effort and, what's happened this year has been very unfortunate. But, it's a hard conversation to have because there's obviously people on both ends of the spectrum, and you can get multiple different opinions. But in my opinion, I think that the league tried their best, and I don't think there's many other leagues in the world that protect their players like the NBA. So it's just kind of hard to have that conversation.
Now, I know, Tyrese, obviously you're doing some cool stuff right now with Hotels.com, and there's a giveaway going on for the NBA Conference Finals. So what can you tell us about it?
Yeah, so Hotels.com is giving away free hotel nights, during the NBA Conference Finals. Anytime a team scores 20 or more fast break points, the first 100 fans to enter on the Hotels.com fast break getaway page will get a free hotel night for their own trip this summer. It's a really cool idea. I know, being somebody like me who travels a lot and traveled a lot as a kid, my mom was always looking for the best deals at hotels. So this is a really cool idea. And I think that especially people who are already watching the NBA as it is, why not take advantage of such a great deal?
Yeah, I got so many weddings to make up for this summer. I have so many. I'm traveling a lot, and I'm writing this down. Hotels.com/fast break getaway. First 100 fans So you got to get in there quick. I'm taking advantage of this, Fitz. I need some free hotel nights.
Tyrese, you travel a lot.
Yeah,
you got a favorite
you gotta
city?
Be all over it.
All over it.
Is there a favorite place for you that you love to go to, other than Sacramento, obviously?
Traveling wise, I wouldn't really say that. I guess I spent my pre-draft in Las Vegas this summer, so I think that my experience there, like as of right now, obviously I'm only 21 years old, so I don't know. But as of right now, I think when I'm done with basketball and I got to find somewhere to live, I think Vegas would be a really cool spot. So I think that's probably one of my favorite spot of mine to travel.
Well, being from there, you just buttered me up. All right, brother, we appreciate your time, man. Congratulations. Best of luck as you continue your process in your career, man. Fun to watch.
Thanks,
from a
Tyrese.
distance. We really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.